Hello and welcome. My name is Suli Richardson, and I am the Community Education Program Manager at Desert Financial Credit Union. And today we are talking about teaching your K through 8th grader the value of a dollar. This webinar is intended to teach parents how to teach their kids ages about 5 through 13 so that they can learn how to handle their money as adults. And so we're going to talk about why children need to learn about money. We're going to talk about how children learn about money. And then lastly, we are going to talk about everyday activities and tools that we can use as parents to teach our children how to handle money. So, as we are teaching our children about money, we must first examine our own money beliefs. Many of us were probably influenced by our parents, what we saw them do, or maybe not doing when it comes to money and finances. So, this will cause us to reflect on our childhood. What is the most important message about money that you heard or learned from your parents when you were a child? What were your money values? What were your parents' money values? What did they believe and what do you believe now? Our parents, how they raised us, when it comes to finances, really influences us as an adult and how we handle our finances. So in the live webinar, I would have launched a poll and asked these questions, and people would have had an opportunity to respond individually. So let's still go through these questions. The first question is, children should be required to save a portion of all money they receive. Second question, children should be required to do work to receive any money they get from their parents. Third question, children should be able to decide how to spend some of their own money. Children should be encouraged to save some of the money they receive. I'm sorry, children should be encouraged to give some of the money they receive to a charity. Children should be asked for their opinions about some family money decisions. Then children can learn positive lessons from making mistakes with money. So these questions, sometimes when I give this in a class, people have very strong beliefs or opinions when we read through these questions. And then what happens sometimes is once we go through the whole webinar and the presentation, they more than likely probably change their perspective. They might change their position, their opinions, and there is nothing wrong with that. We have an opportunity to learn, to self-examine ourselves, and to actually take into perspective, another person's perspective, and maybe even change our point of view. There is always an opportunity to, learn, and as we actively engage with our children. So one of the easiest ways to teach our kids about money is using what is called the teachable moment. And the teachable moment involves circumstances, taking into consideration the child's attention span and what they're interested in. So throughout our day and our daily activities, as we are living our lives, we have opportunities for teaching our kids about money. For example, just taking some money out of the ATM, explaining that the money has already been deposited into our account and that we're actually not just taking money from this machine, that the money is already ours and is already in that bank account. When children have lost interest and you can tell that they're no longer wanting to hear you, they have a different type of attention span. Their attention span, when they're not interested, then it's time for us to stop talking about that topic. And the last bullet says the child's interest. So maybe even watching TV with our kids and looking at opportunities to teach while there's maybe a movie or a commercial, because we know that commercials tend to influence our kids and things that they would like to have and to buy. So those are examples that we can use it as a teaching moment. And so these are some examples of different types of teachable moments that we can use as we are engaging with our children. When we're planning vacations, we can get their input and some of the planning. Maybe it's as easy as, determining a dollar amount that you're going to give for souvenirs, or, do we want to, eat there, and, or maybe pack our lunch. But if we pack our lunch, it give us more opportunities to spend money on souvenirs. There's always that trade-off, opening an account with your child, teaching them about saving 10% of all the monies they get, using your debit card whenever you're in the store and your children are with you, explaining how it works, letting them even swipe the card and punch the number in. That's also an opportunity that they can learn. And then as our children are with us as we are grocery shopping, that is an easy way to engage them in learning about comparison shopping. And then also goal setting. There's so many things that they want that we can use those opportunities to help them to set goals. So the first teaching tool is personal goals. We all have things that we want, even as adults and as children. There's things that we have to live. And then there are things that we want that just kind of makes us feel good. We all need to have clothing, but do we need to have name brand clothing? And then our kids, there are things that they want that probably cost more than what we are willing to pay. So we can help them to set some goals so that they can put some skin in the game, so that they can contribute some of their own monies when it comes down to them buying stuff. And so we can teach them about, setting SMART goals. And a SMART goal is the who, the what, the why, the where, and which, and, making it very specific. Is it measurable? Is it achievable? Is it even realistic? Can you even do it? So teaching tool number one is setting personal goals. Teaching tool number two is a budget. And a budget is all about, having a plan for how you spend your money, deliberate spending. So without some coaching, children could fall into the lifelong habit of mindless spending. But with a budget, you learn how to track your spending. You learn how to identify expenses that are, fixed, or expenses that are variable. And it really just teaches about deliberate saving as well, and then planning how you save money. And it also just teach kids about making choices. We all have choices. Teaching tool number three is an allowance. So an allowance gives a child an opportunity to have some of their own money, that it teaches them how to live within their means. So most child specialists agree that the best way for kids to learn about money is for them to have some of the money, have some money that they can handle on their own. There are advantages to doing that. It reduces, they call it nagging, or maybe kids just asking for money on demand all the time. They can have their own money. It encourages planning. It encourages spending ahead. Some parents believe that, children should earn an allowance. However, the purpose of an allowance is to teach money management, which is a different lesson than the value of labor. So children who live within a family unit or dynamics, they should probably already have different chores that is assigned to them, because you live here. You live here, so you get to make up your own bed. You live here, you get to participate by helping with the dishes or maybe taking out the garbage. There are certain chores within a family dynamics that children should already have. So the allowance should not be tied to the chores. And then the age. So here we're talking about preschool up to age 13 in this presentation, but kids up to the age of adulthood, 18, they should still be getting allowance. And as we are giving our kids an allowance, we want to be consistent. If we're going to do it, be consistent. If it's weekly, make sure that you're giving them that allowance on whatever day that you select, like Saturday. Make sure that they're getting that allowance on the same day every week, and it should be cash. The allowance should be a positive experience and should be consistent with established boundaries. And what that means is you need to decide upfront the things that you are going to pay for as an adult, for your child, or the things that you want them to pay for. So, like lunch, that would be a key thing. Do you want to include the allowance money enough so they can buy their lunch? Or do you want to make sure that you're still giving them money so that they can buy their lunch? And then how much? Keep in mind that um, things today cost more than when we were children. And so the key rule of thumb for determining the dollar amount is that you pay $1 a year for each year of your child's age. So if they're 6, they get $6. Teaching tool number 4 is work. So we know that if you live in a family dynamics, you should have some chores probably already that your child is already responsible for. But if they want to do extra stuff around the house to earn extra money, then identify some things that they can do that's not part of the norm that they can earn extra cash. Maybe it's washing the windows or washing the car, whatever those things are that is not part of their normal duties for living in the family, as living in the family. And then there's opportunities maybe where they can learn money in the neighborhood, cutting lawn, babysitting, pet sitting, walking somebody's dog. There's always opportunities where children can look to earn extra income, whether in the house or within the neighborhood. And then the fifth teaching tool is investment. So this diagram that you're looking at just shows how starting early is more beneficial than waiting. So $1,000 a year grows if invested at 6% compounded annually over time. So the difference here is starting now versus waiting 10 years. And so as you see, the person that starts now, they earn a little bit over $164,000 versus the person that waits, that they delay 10 years in what they earn. That individual earns $83,802 versus the well over $164,000. That is a big difference. So over periods of a decade or more, the stock market average earning of more than 10%. So the idea behind here is to put the money in, start early, don't touch it. Even when the stock market, fluctuates, the ideal is to not touch the money, because over time, when that money is left, that you're going to earn more. So time and compounding of interest is the key here, and how to earn more on your investment. And the earlier you start, especially for your kids, the better off they're going to be. So kids will run into money issues. It's all part of the learning. Don't be alarmed. It is not recommended, however, that we assess fees and fines as penalties for like bad behaviors, or even paying for good behavior, or finding for bad behavior. That can interfere with the learning and of learning money management skills. Instead, find punishments and rewards that match the actions. Kids will make mistakes with money, but this is all about learning. So let's say, for example, that your child run out of money, you know, through no fault of their own. Maybe something happened, a theft. In that regards, it's okay to give them money to kind of make up for that. But if it's for bad spending habits, then maybe you don't want to do that. It's all about teaching kids how to manage their money and being responsible. So we don't want to do bailouts when they make bad money decisions. If the child is responsible and they want to maybe get a loan credit because maybe they have a great idea on starting a small business and they've got, substantial income coming in, there is nothing wrong with extending them credit so that they can maybe buy a lawnmower to start a small business. So after leaving the 8th grade, students have 4 years, just 4 years remaining before they become an adult, and then they're expected to live independently. So there's a lot at stake when we do not invest in our children right now to help them to develop good, sound money management skills and knowledge. And it's hard for them to get caught up. So when we can invest in our kids now, we are, giving them the knowledge so that they, and the skills so that they are able to support themselves and their families. They can be confident in their abilities in handling money. They will learn how to be self-reliant. In other words, they'll be able to support themselves and their families and be responsible. So it is up to us as adults to invest in our children now while they're young so that they can grow up to be financially responsible adults. Thank you so much for listening to this webinar. I hope the information has been beneficial and will help you and your family invest in your children to help them to be responsible with their finances. Thank you.